Hello, everybody. Mike Welsch coming to you from Churchill Downs, a snowy Churchill Downs, as you could see in the background, with the Daily Racing Form Kentucky Derby Workout Report, brought to you by Spendthrift, whose amazing list of stallions, their stallion roster, includes Into Mischief, who actually has 3 horses in this year's Derby, highly motivated Soup and Sandwich, and Mandaloon. And we'll get to Mandaloon a little bit later. But the big story this morning was the snow. We woke up to a couple of inches of snow on the grass. Anyway, the turf course covered in snow, and the main track, obviously, as you can maybe see in the background, was on the sloppy/muddy side today. We had one scheduled work, Obesos, but because of the track conditions, not surprising, the horse's work was postponed today, and we expect to see him tomorrow. So other than that, like yesterday, again, a pretty quiet morning as far as the Derby Oaks situation goes. A lot of gallops, some horses even jogging this morning. But the first out on the track at 5:15, as I put on Twitter today, even the snow, the sleet, the rain, and et cetera, can't keep the Derby favorite from his appointed rounds, and that's Essential Quality. Was the first out at about 20 after 5 this morning for a kind of a routine gallop, but looking good coming out of that big work the other day, and we'll see him, I expect, early Saturday morning with his final Derby work. His stablemate Mandaloon came out shortly thereafter, and I thought he had the gallop of the morning, full of energy again, looked good yesterday, we mentioned that, looked great again today, skipped over the sloppy surface. Now there is some talk that there might be rain in the future forecast here, Derby week, the end of Derby week and leading into Derby weekend, so if we do get a wet track, and we seem to have had a lot of those over the past dozen or so Derbies, looks like Mandaloon will have no problem with it the way he galloped this morning. Keep Me in Mind and his stablemate Ava's Grace were out early as well. Keep Me in Mind, I think, still looking to get into the Derby's field. Ava's Grace, she galloped okay this morning. Keep Me in Mind, he had good energy out there as well. Soup and Sandwich and Helium also out pre-dawn this morning, but they did not choose to gallop today. Trainer Mark Cassidy had them just jog about twice around, almost 2 miles, so they did get in some extensive work, but no galloping over the wet track today for Soup and Sandwich, the son of Into Mischief, and Helium as well. During the Derby session, it didn't seem quite as crowded as usual, and part of the reason was not all the horses, besides the ones that came out earlier this morning, some of the others came out after the Derby session, a couple of Ty Pletchers, a couple of Steve Asmusens. During the Derby session, we had Known Agenda and Dynamic One came out, and they kind of sandwiched Malathat, who galloped in between, just routine gallops. They all seem to get over the track well once again, and their Derby works are also scheduled for Saturday, weather permitting. That's Known Agenda and Dynamic One. Malathat will work on Friday. Highly motivated, looked good yesterday, looked good again today, good energy out on the track, and I thought even better was his stablemate Search Results was really on the muscle this morning, got over the wet track really well. After the Derby session, Bourbonic and Sainthood came out for Todd Pletcher. Bourbonic had to kind of weave through traffic. Now, the Derby session has limited horses out there, so not much worry about traffic issues, but when you come out with the general population, things get a little more crowded, and Bourbonic kind of weave his way a little bit between some traffic coming by the wire, and maybe that made him a little keyed up. His rider had a handful pulling him up at the end of the gallop session this morning. Different gallop session today, too, maybe because of the wet track. Usually the Pletcher horses come by the back up to the wire and then gallop a mile and 5/8. Today they went right off and looked like they only went about a mile and a quarter each. Sainthood also right behind Bourbonic. After the break also, we also had for Steve Asmussen, Superstock, and the filly, Pauline's Peril. They came out, Superstock first broke off from the pony. He has those draw reins to keep him from doing too much, but once he broke away, he was fine. Pauline's Peril also went well. So that's about it for this morning. Again, tomorrow now, Obesos is scheduled to work, and then comes the big crush. Friday, it's going to be mostly Oaks workers. Saturday, I don't know, the list looks like about 9, 10, 11 Derby workers. Just about everybody who's here on the ground prepping for the Derby seems to be scheduled to work here on Saturday. So hopefully the weather will hold and everybody will get their works in on schedule. If rain gets in the forecast, could move some of those Derby workers up or push them back to Sunday. So we'll still have to see. and I hope you'll be here to see it with us at DRF.com for the best coverage of Kentucky Derby 2021.